Pull in the waiting. Good morning and welcome to our Friday, March 18th Faith Health Connection on the North Carolina Senior Games. This morning, I'm Krista Westervelt, by the way. I work with Partners in Health and Wholeness on Healthy Aging. This morning, we're going to have a presentation and Q&A with representatives from the North Carolina Senior Games and from local senior games across the state. And you're going to learn ways that your faith communities can partner with us to support the health and wellness journeys of older adults in your communities. Today we have with us Lynn Harrell, the Associate Director of the North Carolina Senior Games, Liz Lottie, Local Coordinator of the Chatham County Senior Games, Louise Gooch, Ambassador for the Durham County Senior Games, and Corbin Eddings, Ambassador for the Lumber River Senior Games. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Lynn to get us started.
Thank you so much, Krista. We are absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you for the invitation from Krista with the collaboration of Liz, one of our speakers. Oh, am I muted? Can you hear me? No, we're good. Okay, great. So North Carolina Senior Games is a statewide sports and arts program. We have the Olympic program in North Carolina, and we have been a national model of senior games since 1983 when the organization was founded. I began my involvement with senior games as an obligatory volunteer as a college student. And I was so inspired by my involvement as a volunteer that I changed the course of my career. I became the very first intern of North Carolina Senior Games. I worked part-time for Senior Games and now am on our 5-person full-time staff as the associate director. Participants literally changed my life and have motivated me to keep my own body healthy for all of the years that I have known about Senior Games. And now I'm old enough to be a participant, and I do participate in Senior Games. I actually participate in Liz's Senior Games, one of your speakers today. So this presentation is a collaboration of people who are involved in the Senior Games movement in various ways, because there are various ways that you and your congregations and your friends and family may be interested in intersecting with North Carolina Senior Games. The first person I'd like to introduce is Lauren Presley. Lauren is our PR and program coordinator at Senior Games, and she's in charge of our tech portion of the presentation today. Since a picture is worth 1,000 words, we're going to start with a short trip to Senior Games that provides a quick overview via a video. It's just a few minutes. Then I'll be sharing some other resources that are available in addition to the video that you'll have access to immediately following the presentation today to share with your communities, followed by 3 additional perspectives on North Carolina Senior Games, and then we'll close. So let's take a trip to Senior Games, Lauren.
The North Carolina Senior Games began with a vision to create a year-round health promotion and education program for North Carolinians 50 years of age and better. Senior Games fosters a holistic approach to the body, the mind, and spirit with 29 sports and 33 silver arts activities. Enjoy fun, fitness, friends, family, and fellowship with North Carolina Senior Games. Activities include track and field events, cycling, pickleball, swimming, team sports, heritage, literary, visual, performing arts, and cheerleading. Senior Games is a great way to stay healthy and meet new friends. For more information, call 919-851-5456 or visit our website at www.ncseniorgames.org. We look forward to seeing you at the games.
Thanks so much, Lauren. So I'm going to now show you where that resource is located and then show you a few other resources that are available on the North Carolina Senior Games website. This is our homepage, and you see the address ncseniorgames.org. The video that you just saw is under the About tab on the News and Media page. So you're welcome to share that with your friends and family, with your congregations, however you can make use of it to share the news about Senior Games. We're happy to have you do that. The next resource that I'd like to show you is also on the homepage of our website, and it is our organizational brochure. We call it the info flyer, and it's the item in red here. And when I open that document, it's something that can be printed. You can print it in black and white. You can share the link with anybody that you think it would be relevant for. We start with our mission, which is health promotion and wellness. And the tools that we use to accomplish that mission are competitive sports and arts. But one of the things that we know about people that participate in Senior Games is that that competition piece is not necessarily why they participate in Senior Games. We've been doing research on Senior Games participants since 1991. And overwhelmingly, they continue to say that the reasons they participate in the Senior Games program are what we lovingly call these Senior Games F words, these words that are surrounding the Senior Games torch and state logo. Those are the Senior Games F words, and they are why people participate in Senior Games. Competition has become more important as the baby boomers aged in, and now as the X generation has aged in, which is my generation. They're more important, but they're still not the most important reasons. These F words are the most important reasons, which I know you share the values embodied in these with your initiative: fitness, family, fellowship, friends. Those are the things that make the Senior Games program so successful in North Carolina. The next page of this document shows all of the sports that we offer. So if folks are interested, they can zero in on something athletic that they might be interested in. We also explain on this page that participation is by age and gender category, so that 50-year-olds don't participate against 90-year-olds. We show how each age category receives their own medals, and they're competing against people that are approximately the same age. We also show on this page the progression of local games, which is where your local community can get involved in Senior Games, to state finals, which is our state championship that happens each year in the fall. And then the progression to national Senior Games, which happens every 2 years. And that does happen this coming summer in Florida. So we have over 500 participants participating in the National Senior Games from North Carolina, and there are 11,000 folks registered for that competition in Florida in May. The next page shows our Silver Arts program and gives an overview of the program, and also shows the various categories that are offered in our Silver Arts program. You see we have performing arts, we have cheerleaders, we have visual arts, literary arts, and heritage arts. So people who do crafts, do things with their hands, really have the opportunity to interact with Senior Games, even if they are not athletes, even if they have never been athletes before. We have cyclists who have bells and baskets on their bicycles, and we also have cyclists who have bicycles that are more expensive than my car. So and everybody's welcome in Senior Games. That's one of the beauties. Same with the arts. We have people who are their art is purchased by other people, and we have people who are just trying out something for the first time as an artist. Again, all are welcome. The only requirements to participate in senior games in North Carolina are you have to be a resident of the state, and you have to be at least 50 years of age or better by December the 31st of each year. Those are all the qualifications. So literally people of any ability can be involved. And that's one of the things that really attracted me to senior games is we can all aspire to be senior games participants one day in some way. The last page is an opportunity for connection with the local senior games in your community. And I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can access information to connect with local games in your community. Again, back on our website, you'll see the local games tab at the top of our menu, and the Find Your Local Games page is this page and has that link to where to get involved, what the local games dates are, what the names of the local games are. So that can be accessed either from the Find Local Games page or from the link in the info flyer. I'm also going to show you our interactive map here, which links to each individual web page for each of our local games. We do have 53 local games throughout North Carolina, which you see displayed here with their beautiful logos. And we do serve all 100 counties. So there is a local game that serves your community in this state. So when I go to this interactive map, you see the map of the state of North Carolina with all 100 counties listed. And as you scroll across the counties, you see that each local games has, or each county has the local games that serve that county. Randolph is a good example for us to talk about because you see there are 3 different local games that offer opportunities for participation in Randolph County. The case-by-case games are games that may allow people from outside Randolph County to participate in their local games. That would need a phone call to the local coordinator and an email to the local coordinator to say, I'm interested, what does it take to participate in your local games? Greater Greensboro Senior Games only allows people from the geographic area that they serve to participate in their local games. And that does include Randolph County because they're listed here as one of the service bodies for Randolph County. And then again, Greater High Point Senior Games. You'll see Rowan County is an open games, which means that anyone within the state of North Carolina who would like to participate in senior games is welcome in Randolph County, in Rowan County. So when we click on one of those pages where there are multiple counties, we get to a page specifically for that county. And then the person who's interested can click on one of these links and go to that local game page for that region and see where they're located, what their dates are, registration information, website information, Facebook page if they have one, and then contact information that's duplicative of that document that I showed you from the info flyer. And then this is where you can see the activities that are offered at that specific local games. So those are the resources I wanted to show you. Next, you're going to hear from my co-presenter, my first co-presenter, who is a new Senior Games board member. He is new to the Senior Games community because he just got old enough to be involved in the Senior Games community as a participant. He's been involved for a few years as a participant. He's an athlete. He is a volunteer. He's become a Senior Games ambassador in the Lumber River Senior Games and is the newest member of our North Carolina Senior Games Board of Directors. Welcome, Corbin Eddings.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I haven't been called an athlete in quite some time, so thank you for that kind word. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in today. Thank you, Lauren, for your technical work, Miss Liz, Miss Krista. So many folks that have worked to put this together. I was asked to speak with you today to tell you a little about myself and what North Carolina Senior Games means to me. When I talk about Senior Games, I sometimes get a little passionate and I may tend to ramble. So I made myself a few notes. I hope you don't mind. In thinking about this, if you've ever been to a concert, you know how they have an opening act and then they've got the group that everybody really came to see. Or like at a sporting event, you've got an undercard and then the main event. Well, it's exactly that today. I'm that opening act. I am that undercard. You guys will get to hear the amazing Dr. Louise Gooch momentarily, so I'll be brief. But to tell you a little bit about myself and what Senior Games means to me, my name is Corbin Eddings. I live here in Robeson County. I have participated in the Lumber River Senior Games. This will be my 4th year. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. I have 2 brothers and a sister. So I had to compete at an early age. I grew up in a military family. During Operation Desert Storm, I had a brother serving in the United States Navy, a brother serving in the United States Army, a sister serving in the United States Air Force, and at the time I was serving active duty in the Marines. So you can imagine what that was like coming home for Christmas, competing about who was the strongest, the quickest, and the toughest. But anyway, I have been married for 27 years. I've got 2 sons. My wife and I have taught Sunday school for probably the past 20 years to the 12 to 19 age group. We've had to stay active just to try to keep up with those folks. And I compete in various adult basketball leagues throughout the area. But when I talk about what Senior Games means to me, to be honest with you, it's twofold, and it's very different stories. When I first heard about Senior Games, I was in my 40s. And to be honest with you, at the time, I just could not wait for my chance to compete. It was all about the competition for me. Fortunately, the age to compete was lowered a few years ago to 50, and that allowed me to start competing back in 2019. In 2019, I registered for some track events, some swimming events, and as I said, my focus then was just on competing and winning. It sounds trivial to say it now, but at that time, it was all about Corbin and maybe what Corbin could do that day. That's how I felt about 9 o'clock. Now we're going to go to what it means to me going forward. And it probably changed somewhere between 9 a.m. that first morning and 10 a.m. that first morning. By 10 o'clock, my day had flipped upside down. I had a game plan going in. I had priorities going in. And don't get me wrong, I still competed. But I found myself backing out of events just so I could watch other folks compete. I had never watched a gentleman in his 70s run a 400-yard dash. The most exciting part of my day was not getting some medals, which I did, by the way. The most exciting part is I got to witness 2 ladies in their 90s compete in a 100-yard dash. And at the end of that 100-yard dash, they shared a banana together. That was just a great day for me. After that first day, I knew I had to get more involved. So the following year, I probably registered for 20 events. I volunteered to serve as a Senior Games ambassador. Earlier this year, I was asked to serve on the board of directors. So when I talk about what does it mean today, the title says Senior Games, but folks, honestly, there's something for everybody. And it says games, but there's so much more. It started out as competition, but now for me, it's about telling folks about something I don't want them to miss out on. I thank all of you for your time. I look forward to working with you. Hopefully I'll see you on the track, in the swimming pool, or get to see a photograph you've taken. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Corbin. He's such a great example of why I was motivated to change and become involved in Senior Games more than just that obligatory first volunteer experience. People like Corbin and like our next speaker are the people that really change lives, not just those of us who are involved now and who are old enough to participate, but change young people's lives. Our next person who is going to speak with us, Dr. Louise Gooch, has been involved with Senior Games for over 20 years. She is newly an athlete. She newly participates in athletic events, but for all the years that she has participated, she has been a volunteer and a competitive cheerleader. She's also on our board of directors and is a past chair of the North Carolina Senior Games Board of Directors. One of our very best cheerleaders for the organization, Dr. Louise Gooch.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And also want to thank the North Carolina Council of Churches for the great invitation to talk to you briefly this morning about North Carolina Senior Games. I am a retired nursing professor and retired as Director of Nursing Education from Durham Technical Institute, or community college now, several years ago. So my emphasis has always been on trying to encourage people to maintain their health and wellness as best as they can. So when I retired, I thought, now what am I going to do with myself? And I retired in 2000. And I volunteered at the YMCA, and I saw flyers about Senior Games. And so I'm a very nosy person. So I started to inquire about what is Senior Games? You know, what do you do? What do they do? What's the age? What's the requirement? So forth and so on. And I guess the people at the Y finally got tired of answering all these questions for me. And they asked if I would like to be the representative from the Y as far as the North Carolina Senior Games are concerned. So of course I said yes. And I attended the first Senior Games conference in Wilmington. And it was very, very interesting, but there was also a certain factor that bothered me. When I saw the statistics of the Senior Games about the participants, the participation as far as African Americans were concerned were extremely low. And I'm saying to myself, now we can do better than that. We have bodies and we need to do things to keep our bodies in good shape. So when that conference was over and I came back to Durham, then I started looking at the statistics there to see what was going on. And lo and behold, I found out that Durham was running into sanctioning problems with the North Carolina Senior Games. And so they needed to sort of get their act together. Still being the nosy person that I am, I started to inquire about what I can do. So we worked and we worked and we got it all straight. And about 3 years ago, we were recognized as one of the leaders as far as large group participations in the Senior Games are concerned. So we're very pleased about that. I'm also a colon cancer survivor of 19 years. So just because you have had a disorder, a dysfunction, or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that you have to just sit at home and do nothing. Growing up as a child, I always wanted to be a cheerleader, but I never had time. And when I got to college, I didn't have the money. And then I started to work, and then I didn't have the time again. So when I retired, and after I had my little fight with colon cancer, I decided to start a senior citizen cheerleading squad. And I thought, nobody's interested in being a cheerleader but you. So I put up a sign-up sheet at the Y, and 9 ladies signed up immediately. So we have been cheering and shaking whatever we can shake for about 16 or 17 years. And it's really been a lot of fun. Senior Games have given us the feeling of belonging and feeling worthwhile. With the pandemic now, things have slowed down quite a bit as far as participation with the games, because we're all trying to maintain our health. At this point, we're trying to maintain our lives. So social distancing, wearing our mask, and other entities are extremely important. So our cheerleading squad, the Durham Divas and Dudes, we've been on a break for a couple of years because we can't rehearse like we need to. You cannot do social distancing with cheerleaders. We got to touch each other. So we're just waiting for a while. It's hard to cheer with a mask. When you're old, you can't breathe anyway. And when you put a mask on and try to cheer, that's almost impossible. But we're trundling along and we're trying to do whatever we can. Senior Games has allowed me, as well as other seniors, to become visibly as far as the entire nation is concerned. ABC featured our cheerleading squad. And, when I saw it, I went, whoa, and my cousin called me from California. She said, I saw you on Good Morning America. I said, no, you didn't. She said, I did. I know you when I see you. And so Senior Game has afforded me the opportunity to become known. I've also appeared in several national magazines. Yahoo sent a crew of photographers and videographers down to the Y to videotape us, and they stayed with us all day. I was worn out when they left. I said, if I had to make my living as a model or a PR person, I couldn't do it. But anyway, it's getting the word out. Just because you're a certain age, it doesn't mean that you have to sit at home and sit in a rocking chair and rock yourself to death. So with my cheerleading squad, we love to do things. So a quickie little cheer for you. Here we go. My name's Louise. I'm quite a lady. Come September, I will be 80. Yay! And you don't stop playing when you grow old. You grow old because you stop playing. And I, Louise Gooch, approve this message and the video that you're about to see. I survived colon cancer, and being a cheerleader was on my bucket list. So I started a cheerleading squad. My name is Louise Gooch, and I'm a senior cheerleader. I learned how to do a split at the ripe old age of 62. Most of us were never cheerleaders in our earlier years, but it's never too late to fulfill your dreams. So we started off knowing nothing, except we wanted to be cute little cheerleaders. So mission accomplished. One of the most important things that you can do is to get up and move. You can sit. That's like signing a death certificate. My involvement as a cheerleader is the greatest thing that has happened to me. I intend to keep on cheering as long as I can move. Thank you so much.
Louise. Thank you, Louise. As you see with Corbin and with Louise, wow, so exciting to be involved in this program. Our next speaker is a local coordinator. She is one of the people who runs one of those local senior games that serve all 100 counties. We have 53 of those. Liz is the local coordinator of Chatham County Senior Games, and is the way that we had the opportunity to be with you today because of her connection and friendship with Krista. So Liz, we're so glad you helped us get involved, and we would love to hear your perspective on senior games, so that we'll have heard from staff people, from participants, and also from local folks about how the senior games makes a difference in your community. Liz.
Thank you. Hello from Chatham County. And It's so good to see Krista, my old co-worker. So thank you so much, Krista, for setting this up. I'm really glad to be here today. I love the North Carolina Council on Churches Health and Wellness, or Wholeness, I'm sorry, initiative, because it closely so aligns with the Senior Games mission, increasing physical activity and encouraging healthy aging. So I've been involved with Senior Games as a volunteer during state games. I was a steering committee member in Durham's Senior Games, and that was with Louise. And presently I'm a local coordinator and a participant. Can you believe it? I know I don't look old enough, but I just found out I'm going to get a senior discount at Harris Teeter this year. So, woohoo! So because I've done Senior Games at all different kind of levels, I've seen participants age 50 to 90 plus compete. And I just want to share a few things that I discovered. So there are participants that have been athletes or artists their entire life, just like Corbin, all right? And they're thrilled that they can compete. I wasn't so fast about approaching. They had it at 55 first, but then they moved it down to 50. And so I wasn't that thrilled about joining Senior Games and becoming a senior. But Corbin, since he was 40, that's awesome. So I have one gentleman, and his name is Wayne. He's actually in his 70s. Last year or 2 years ago, he ran a 10K, a 5K, a 1500 meter run, an 800 meter run, and a 400 meter run all in the same day. He's just my inspiration. So that's kind of neat. So then there's seniors that participate in athletic or artistic events back in the day, and they discover that Senior Games can just, they can rekindle that spark. So as a result, Louise and the Durham Divas came to Chatham County a couple years ago, and she said, I want to see a cheerleading group here. And I thought, there's not going to be any cheerleaders in Chatham County. Well, lo and behold, we started a cheerleading group 2 years ago, and I was amazed to find that, so the two young girls, they're actually from a high school mentoring us, but I was amazed to find that we did have co-workers that were former cheerleaders. We did have, and Krista, you probably recognize some of them. We did have.
It's nice to see with familiar faces.
Yeah, some seniors too, and they were just thrilled to have the opportunity to perform. So then we have seniors who have never had the opportunity to participate in sports or artistic endeavors, and maybe they just want to give it a try. So a few years ago, we had a former football coach. She practiced with Audrey. She had never thrown a football in her entire life. And she was working with this former coach, and she ended up with a gold medal, and she medaled 3 years after that. So that was just really neat. So whatever the reason, Senior Games helps promote health and wellness, like we talked about. It encourages seniors to practice their sport and refine their artwork. So it gives them a sense of pride when they realize they still got it. And then their family members come see them compete. So Dan's a really good example of this. He brings his wife, his children, his grandchildren, cheer him on. And they bring their chairs, they spread out with food, and they take lots of pictures. So it's so endearing to watch. They're so proud of him. So I've seen friendships develop. 2 years ago, I matched two 90-year-olds as table tennis mixed doubles partners, and they went on to state finals to win a gold medal. They were so surprised to compete with each other because they were in the same age range. Usually you have to go down to several increments, but they were in the same age grade, and they were just thrilled. I think they're going to be competing again this year. He really does have eyes that open up, but we just took a picture. I opened my eyes for him. Some of our participants, they're just beamed when they recognize they got a medal and they're eligible to compete in state finals. I have one of my participants, Humberto. He actually sleeps with his medals. He is so proud of them. And he usually has, tons of medals. I couldn't find the picture of that, but he usually wears them all, and, his neck hangs down. So he's really thrilled about that. So Joe is actually one of my steering committee members, and he's here today. And he told me he thought Senior Games was one of our best kept secrets. And so we as coordinators, we connect with senior living communities. We post on social media. We use print and other methods, but there's still people who haven't heard about Senior Games. So I'm just one coordinator in one county, and I'm not sure where y'all are located, but there is coordinators in counties or regions throughout the whole state that would love to partner with you. And so it's my hope and prayer that more seniors can be reached and participate in the Senior Games throughout the whole state. So let's just encourage our congregations and others to participate in Senior Games. Let's help rekindle their spark. Try something new, be active, meet new people, and have that sense of pride and accomplishment. I'm so glad I was here today, and thanks so much for having us. Let us know if there's anything we can help you out with.
Thank you so much, Liz. We are so fortunate to have a team, and you're just seeing 5 of us who are a team that create the family that is North Carolina Senior Games. We call what we share, in addition to family, we call it the spirit of Senior Games, capital S, spirit. And the reason that we call it that is because in 1985, right after those very first games happened, one of the founding volunteer members of our board of directors wrote a poem called The Spirit of Senior Games. And to close this portion of the presentation today, we're going to share with you the spirit of Senior Games in hopes that we've shared just a little bit of that spirit with you so you can catch it too.
I am pride in one's community.
And its representation throughout the state.
I am a smile or a hug from a newfound friend.
I'm the desire that inspires all who are involved.
To give their very best.
I am thankfulness for the gifts
Of health and wellness that are mine.
I am love and support that touches
People of all ages.
I am the knowledge that every individual
is one of God's special creations.
I am the thread that unites each of us into one.
For this night and all the years to come,
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
We are the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit. I am the Spirit.
I am the Spirit.
We are the spirit of Senior Games.
We hope you'll join us.
Thank you so much, Lynn, Liz, Louise, Corbin, and Lauren for the tech support there. That was amazing. And I have to say, Liz touched on this a little bit. I remember when I was working at the Council on Aging and they had told me that 50 was the cutoff. I'm 40, I just turned 45 in September and I was like, oh gosh, really? Am I getting that close? And now I'm super, super excited. So thank you, Corbin. I'm like, can we just like falsify the birth certificate and I just go ahead and hop on now? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that. That was tremendous. Thank you so much. For those who weren't athletes in high school or college, or maybe who maybe either were scared of sports or scared of PE back when they were younger, what would you say to encourage them, or what activities do you think would be a good starting point for those who aren't so sure? I don't know who would not be sure after watching this, but just in case. And feel free, anyone, to speak up.
Well, the ones that we have that are a little bit hesitant, the fun walk is always good. It's a mile-long walk, and they don't have to compete the whole mile, but we hope they do. Cornhole is another good one that they can try, and basketball shoot. They would shoot it in the basket. Horseshoes might be another one that would be good, and a lot of the silver arts, we hadn't really touched on that much, but they can do. There's a lot of different categories for silver arts.
Well, you know, I'm going to be supportive of this cheerleading group. I was never a cheerleader in my whole life, but I always wanted to be one. And most ladies and gentlemen want to be a cheerleader. So just get out there and try and move whatever you can move in the best way that you can move it and have fun doing it. But just move, do something, get up and get out. If you're uncertain, just check the website and you will see the various games and things that are being offered. Growing up, you know how you pick people to do certain sports with you. I want you to be on my team to do X, Y, and Z. Nobody ever picked me. I was terrible as an athlete. And they would always say, you just cheer for us. Well, I'm still cheering at 80 years old. So be a cheerleader.
Love that. Thank you. Yes, this is for everyone, even if you didn't get picked back in school. That's amazing. And I tell you what, I'm thinking maybe when I turn 50, I'll, no offense, Liz, but I might move to Durham so I could cheerlead with Louise.
Krista,
Yes.
this Joe Johnson.
Hey, Joe.
I got a statement I'd like to make, and I've told Liz this before. Senior Games is one of the best kept secrets in North Carolina. So many people don't know anything about it, have no knowledge whatsoever about it. And I think we owe it to ourselves to get this information to the radio and TV stations to get it out there. They want to do, in fact, unless I'm wrong, I think that the federal government requires that they spend so much time that they can't charge for as part of their agreement. I don't know if that still applies or not. It used to. But anyway, why not make some of that time Senior Games time? Talk with your TV stations. Talk with Channel 11. I've talked with Channel 17 myself already. Get them to start doing some coverage on it, some promotion. That's my challenge to all of the Senior Games people that's attending today. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Joe. I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, no, we definitely, and at Partners in Health and Wholeness and the North Carolina Council of Churches, we're definitely wanting to help get the word out across the state to folks so that more people can get involved. Does anyone have any questions for our panelists, or even want to share their own experiences with the Senior Games before we move on to how we can partner with y'all and with the faith communities to get more people involved?
So I want to ask, because my mom is like, I want to sign up. She was kind of going through and kind of listening. So I know, I know a lot of some of the registration dates have passed, like Greater Greensboro, for example. So are there other ways to still get involved? Like, can they, even if they're not registered for this year, can they go to the events? Can they
Absolutely
volunteer?
Absolutely, Nicole, absolutely. So there are some local games who are already in process, and there may be a game that's close to your mom because there are a lot in that Greensboro corridor area. So there may be a game that's close by, but not actually in Guilford County, that she could still participate in. Rockingham is one that comes to mind just off the top of my head. There's also Greater High Point. There are several, and that map that was shared on the Find Your Local Games page. You can also be in contact with our office and we'll help find a game that's open that she could participate in. But in addition to that, absolutely, every single local games and our state level competition needs volunteers. We have lots of unofficial cheerleaders that don't compete in cheerleading the way that Louise does, but that help run the activities. We have people giving out water. This year, we'll probably have people at lots of local games handing out masks and hand sanitizer. And I will say that this state was the only state that continued Senior Games through the pandemic. We completely revamped our entire program and created virtual opportunities so that our population was safe. And we're the only state in the nation that offered that. And Liz's games continue to grow safely through the pandemic. So we really do mean something for everyone. That's not just, a slogan that we say. So we'd love to have your mom involved as a volunteer or as a participant in one of those other areas. And if she doesn't want to drive, she could still do Silver Arts, because local games receive Silver Arts literary pieces through the mail, since they're writings, or through email. So there's still ways that she can be involved, even if the Guilford County registration is closed. So we'll be glad to help you find that. Thanks for the question. I hope to see your mom.
I think you will, definitely.
You can also volunteer and be involved. We'd love to have you as well.
That would be great. That would be great, probably. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that saves me one of my other questions I had. So that answer, that was great, Nicole. It's sort of how people can get involved with their faith communities, whether that's volunteering or participating. Does anyone else have any other questions or anything they want to say about senior games before we move on to the next portion? All right. I just want to thank you again for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again.
We so appreciate the opportunity. We were all so very excited to be involved and to have the opportunity to invite faith communities. So thank you again so very much for having us. And we're excited about the next portion of your presentation.
Yes, no, thank you. And I want to, I thank Liz too for, as soon as we decided as a group that we were going to do this event, the first person I got on the phone was Liz. I'm like, okay, Liz, let's get this working. And she was excited to help. So thank you so much, Liz, and everyone. All right, hold on, let me put my screen back up. All right, so how can we partner with you to support the health and wellness journeys of the older adults in your communities? So one of the things that we offer through the Partners in Health and Wholeness are mini grant opportunities. And we were really excited when we talked about this today's event. How could we partner with congregations to get them excited and get them participating in the senior games? And these mini grants are one way for us to help do that. And so our mini grants aren't just for things like this, but these are for individual faith communities. They're grants of up to $1,000 to support a health ministry and its mission. And you can see a little bit more about that here. But the mini grants tend to address one of our 6 focus areas, which are healthy eating, physical activity, tobacco, nicotine prevention, and vaping education, mental health advocacy, and healthy aging, and overdose crisis and substance use. And of course, Senior Games taps 2 of those, which are physical activity and healthy aging. And so here's some brief information. We also have a YouTube video, which I'll link in chat, and I will also send out, called PHW 101, that sort of explains our mini grant process. But these are sort of the eligibility requirements. And again, we have a whole video that explains the collaborative pledge and all these sorts of things. These are some limitations to the funding. But again, what we were thinking is that perhaps if you have a faith community that hasn't gotten a health ministry going, or you're not sure how to get it started and how to really get the older adults in your faith community or congregation into a healthy aging physical activity program, that having the opportunity to apply for a mini grant to help support funding for the members of your community to join and partner and participate in the senior games, the mini grant would offer a good option to help offset the cost for your congregates, for your faith community members. And so if you want more information about how the mini grants work, you can contact Brandy at phwinfo@ncchurches.org, and I'll give that email again later in the broadcast or program. Right now, we are in one of our first mini grant cycles of the year, which runs through March 31st. So there's still time to apply for one of these mini grants to get your faith community involved in the senior games as part of a health initiative at your congregation. So do be in touch with us. We also offer a up to $5,000 community mini grant for a minimum of 3 congregations working together. So if there's a group of churches that all want to work together and maybe get everybody involved in senior games from their congregation, and maybe some playful competition between them, we'd be delighted to give you more information on how to go about doing that. And these are some other examples of ways people have used our mini grants for health initiatives within their faith communities, from health screenings, health fairs, community gardens, etc. But we're really hopeful that those who weren't sure how to get it going, but are excited about the senior games, could reach out to us and apply and see what they can do to get the older adults in their communities involved and get them up and moving. And maybe we need to send Louise around to all of them and to encourage them to get going. I think we're gonna have to keep you on as honorary ambassador for us too there about getting moving, Louise. Thank you. And this just gives some information just briefly, and we'll send out information on this. And we also have that PHW 101 video that explains how these community mini grants work as well. And so for more details, you can check out our YouTube video about it, which I will link in the chat. Hold on. Oops. That's our PHW 101 video that will tell you all about what we do here at Partners in Hope and Wholeness at the North Carolina Council of Churches, and we'll give you more information on those mini grant opportunities. And I also like to invite Jessica, my colleague Jessica Stokes, to talk to you about the special opportunity for a BIPOC mental health grant as well.
Thank you, Krista, and thank you to each of you. Today's presentation was simply wonderful, and I couldn't be more grateful to end my work week on a Friday with such an uplifting hour with you all. So thank you for offering that to us and sharing your time with us. I have a special opportunity to make you aware of a mental health grant reserved for faith communities predominantly of color. And so what we are hoping to invite faith communities to is a rich, life-giving, shared collaboration with Partners in Health and Wholeness through a mental health grant to support, sustain, expand, establish mental health efforts in your faith community. And so these grants are between $5,000 to $10,000. And later on in the year, we will have an opportunity for a larger size grant to help establish a mental health resource hub in your region. But please prayerfully consider, if you are a faith community that is predominantly of color, BIPOC, meaning Black and Brown, Indigenous persons of color, consider applying for one of these grants to work on mental health in your church. We know that COVID has had a tremendous impact on our emotional well-being, our mental health, all the things that we carry and hold as individuals and as a community. And we are very confident that this grant will help provide support around those many, many issues that fall under those concerns. So if you are interested in applying or know somebody who may want to apply, please email me at jessica@ncchurches.org. And you see my email there at the bottom of the slide, and I will put it in the chat. But please spread this opportunity throughout the state and reach out to me. I would love to talk with you. Thank you very much, Krista.
Jessica. Are there any questions about any of that information or anything still that anyone has any lingering questions about the senior games? And I'll put a link also in the chat for our mini grants, as well as our YouTube channel, which also has additional resources. And one last time, another link to find your local senior games. All right, Mary's asking in the chat if the mental health grant is separate from the PHW mini grants.
Yes, short answer, but Jessica can give you more details. So feel free to email her.
I think it's a great question. Any other questions that anyone has? All right, Mary says, okay. Mary will reach out to Jessica. Wonderful.
Yeah, so reach out to her, but I'll just, oh, I got my video off too. So the mini grant that we have every year is totally separate from this mental health grant, and they're not like mutually exclusive. They're not, if you get that one, then you won't get the other one. So yeah, they're two separate ones. Yes.
Yes, and Jessica says it's a special opportunity in addition to the mini grant offerings. I would love to talk again. It's jessica@ncchurches.org if you have questions about that. So, all right. Well, very good. Again, thank you so much, Lynn, Louise, Lauren, Liz, Corbin for being here. I wish we could have had like the full hour with all of y'all talking. Like, it's just, I'm very excited about it. Like, I already was excited about it anyway, having been at the Council on Aging in Chatham before and seeing how excited people are, but I'm even more excited than I was before. So thank you so very much.
We appreciate being invited, and please reach out to us if we can answer questions. You have our website address and our email addresses are there. Our phone number's there. We're happy to help in any way that we can, help you get connected with a local coordinator with those resources that are listed.
Thank you so much. And when we send this out to everyone who registered and to our network, we will also include the different resource links as well as the flyer that you showed us at the beginning of the presentation.
This is absolutely fantastic. And I can see there would be a lot of faith communities who I don't think that they know about the senior games, and a lot of faith communities that would definitely be interested. Do you, yeah, so Mary's saying she was unaware of the senior games. So I think this would be a great opportunity for communities who are faith communities are looking for different ways, right, to bring people together and to keep moving. And even I think one of the biggest parts, I think, is probably the community building. Yep. Yeah. So I think that's really great.
We're on the same wavelength.
And I wonder if, yes, the link could definitely be available.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, we are happy. Yes. Yes. We are not stingy with our links
No.
to our past presentations by any stretch of the imagination. Like, we will give you probably more resources than you want. So if you want links, we'll give them to you.
Public on our YouTube page. Anyone, everyone is welcome to view any of the recordings, webinars. Please send them far and wide. We're very much take the attitude of the more the merrier.
Yes, no, for sure. Because just in the same way that we are happy to help share the word about North Carolina Senior Games, we want more people across the state within faith communities to know that the work that we are doing and how we can partner with them to help them build healthy programs at their congregations and their faith communities. So this is just a wonderful opportunity. So yeah, thank you again. Were there any
Nicole, I'm curious about your comment about people not knowing about senior games, and I'm wondering if there are any additional resources. I agree with you, and that goes to Joe's point about senior games being the best kept secret in North Carolina. Are there additional resources that we could provide other than what we've shown you today that would be helpful? The list of contact people, the video. Are there other things that we could help share the news about senior games? Is there anything that we're missing that would be helpful?
I'm not sure. I'm feeling like this is one of those things where one person finds out about it and then they share it with other people. One of the things that did come to mind is that Partners in Health and Wholeness will be having a Faith and Health Summit later this year in September. And we usually have a series of workshops, and a lot of the faith communities that participate in different programs of PHW, or even some that don't, they still come, clergy and laity, usually anywhere between 150, 200 people. And we have like a series of workshops, and I'm thinking that y'all should come and do one of the workshops at the Faith and Health Summit. I think that would be fantastic. And sometimes, and we also have like exhibitor tables, but I think that would be a really great way, because sometimes it's easier when somebody, they meet the person or a person that they can put a face to, and they're like, oh, okay, that person's with this thing, and I was very excited about it, and I've got their contact information, and I can follow up with them. So that's one thing that immediately like jumps off the top of my head. Something else that I think would be really great, we send out a monthly newsletter. It would be great if we could include like if there are upcoming things about the senior games, like we would love to include those in our newsletter. If y'all would be interested sometimes in doing a guest post as well for that newsletter or for our online blog, that would also be that would also be fantastic. So like those are things that immediately come to mind for me. And I'm also wondering if we could potentially maybe have maybe another presentation later in the year hosted by a faith congregation, and we invite like some other congregations if they would like to come and hear that presentation about the senior games. Like that would be pretty cool. So
I love all of those ideas. Nicole, thank you for those. And I saw Lauren, who's our PR coordinator on staff, frantically writing all of the ideas that you were. I don't have a pen where I am standing, but I saw her frantically writing. So I think she agrees that those are just fantastic ideas. I will tell you that our office, we're a staff of 5, and we run our state finals events in September and October. And we typically have 3,500 registrants. So those are busy months for us. But I will also say, this is a very important initiative to this organization. And you send us the dates, we will get it on our calendar, and we will make sure to have representation there. It may not be me, it may not be Lauren, but we will definitely, depending on the day, if it's not right in the middle of an event, we will make sure, because we aren't, these 5 people that you're hearing from today aren't the only people who are so excited and encouraged about the burgeoning relationship that we've just started today. And so we will be interested and definitely want to be involved. There are a lot of other people in the family of Senior Games who can help if we personally are not able. So all of those sound fantastic.
All of those, yeah. We already have our date. Hold on. We just did it yesterday.
Was it the 14th, 15th?
September 15th. Yep.
15th, yeah.
Yep.
That's Friday, I think, before our
Thursday.
big week starts. Thursday, before our big week starts. So
yeah,
we'll be busy, but we can do it.
Where are the state games being held?
So that week we have venues all across the state, because our goal is to offer our participants the very best facilities available for their particular event. And so we move things around. We kick things off with archery in Rockingham County, actually, at a premier archery venue. We have cornhole, bocce in Clayton, North Carolina. We have mini golf at Frankie's here in the Triangle, sort of Raleigh-Mooresville location. And then that big week, which is that following week following your big conference, mostly in the Triangle is what we call our big week. There are lots of events in Raleigh. Our track and field is in Durham. And we have a lot of events in Cary. So sort of the broader Triangle area. And then in October, we have golf in Southern Pines, because where else would you have golf? We have our pickleball tournament back in Cary. We have our softball tournament in Cary. Our basketball tournament is actually at ECU. And then, and that's in November this year. So we're really all across the state, but that big week is the Triangle area. So, and all those dates and locations are in that info flyer that I shared, and also on the calendar page of our website. And we also have our preliminary schedule for state finals posted on our state finals information page on our website. We didn't even talk about state finals today, but all of those answers are published. So yeah, we will make it work, I promise.
Wonderful. Oh, that's exciting.
Thank you for that opportunity. That's really exciting.
That's great. Well, thank you. I think we're like about over time. I'm going to just share a few last things and kind of close this off. Again, if you have want information about our Healthy Aging Initiative, you can contact me at krista@ncchurches.org. For information about our collaborative pledge and mini grants, you can contact Brandy at phwinfo@ncchurches.org. And for info on the BIPOC mental health grant or any of our mental health initiatives, you can contact Jessica at ncchurches.org. Our website is healthandwholeness.org, and you can follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Partners in Health and Wholeness, and on Twitter at Health and Faith. One of the things we like to do to close off our events is to kind of take a few deep breaths. So I invite you, sort of sitting where you are, we're going to do three deep breaths. I'll count off the first one, and then you can do the last two on your own. 1. I want to thank you again for joining us today, and thank you to our guests, and we look forward to working with you again in the future. I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their Friday and an excellent weekend. Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.